I'm Nico, and this is Let's Play The Sims 4 Create a World. If you didn't watch the prologue, you should probably go watch it now, because I explain in depth exactly what we're going to be doing. But basically, I ripped out all of the lots and all the people from the worlds in The Sims 4, and I'm starting completely new. I'm going to fill all of these lots with my own people and their own stories, and it's all very, very exciting. So we're moving in our first family today, and our first family is called the Wilkins. So basically what I'm going to do, since this is the first episode, I'll explain. I'm going to play back my creation of the Sims, and over it I'm basically just going to tell you their stories, a little bit about them, sometimes why I chose what I chose for them, and just going to introduce you to them and let you get to know them a little bit while I show you exactly what went into making them. So our first family is called the Wilkins family. This here is Mama Wilkins. She's like an older Southern belle, very strict, very traditional kind of character. She owns a big farm in Willow Creek, which we are going to build. I'm not very good at big builds, so I'm a little nervous to see how it goes, but I think it's gonna be great. We're gonna make it very beautiful, very lush, and we're gonna do a lot of landscaping for her. It's gonna be wonderful. So, Mama Wilkins, her name is Phoebe. She is like the matriarch of this family, married into the Wilkins family, who owns most of Willow Creek. Before Willow Creek was what it is today, it was all farm and forest. So all of the farmland was owned by the Wilkins family. Mama Wilkins here, Phoebe, she married into the Wilkins family, and when her husband died, she took over the farm. So when she was a younger girl, she met her husband, and they fell instantly in love. She loved the farm life, which she wasn't too not used to. She did live on a very small farm, much, much smaller than the Wilkins legacy for sure. But she already loved the farm life, and she loved it even more with her adoring husband. And with her husband, she desperately wanted to have children, her husband too, because he wanted someone to carry on the name and to inherit the farm after they were gone. And preferably he wanted a boy, but a girl would have done too. Unfortunately, Phoebe had some fertility issues and had a very, very hard time conceiving a child. Okay, so she sorry, sometimes I stumble over my words, and if I re-recorded every time I stumble, I would be here all week. So where were we? Mama Wilkins. I just love her design so much. I kind of, I like to, when I'm in Create a Sim, base Sims off of an image, off of someone who already exists. Mama Wilkins is actually based off of Professor McGonagall from the Harry Potter movies. So I like how she came out. And I love the teeth option. That came with vampires, and that is so interesting. I love it. But we're just going to keep her with normal teeth. I thought it'd be funny to see her with braces, so that's what I was doing. So Mama Wilkins trying to conceive a child with her husband. They tried very, very hard, and it took them many years before they finally conceived their first child, and that would be Madeline, who you will see shortly after Mama Wilkins is done. So Mama Wilkins runs the Wilkins farm in Willow Creek, and it's basically, you know, the biggest place in Willow Creek. There's actually two lots I'm looking at. One is bigger, but it's kind of like near where the town's supposed to be, so I'm gonna have to go in and actually look at the surrounding area and see what would be a better option for a big farmhouse with a big farm. So anyway, they finally conceived their first child, and they were so excited about it, and they had so many aspirations for their child. They loved her so much, but you know, she was not what they expected. They had a hard time bringing her up the way that they thought a proper lady should act and behave, and they just had a pretty hard time with it, because Madeline is wild and rebellious, and she does not like farm life. So, and again, I'll explain more about Madeline when we get to her here. So, I was gonna make Mama Wilkins a hothead, because her and Madeline fight all the time, but I didn't think that that's exactly what she would be. I thought neat would be a better option for her. She's kind of picky, she's nitpicky, you know. She looks at everything and she's always judging it all the time. That's why I made her a snob, really. So here I'm pseudo making her husband. I'm just gonna play with genetics to get Madeline here in a second. So I love this guy. I really do, but I decided not to go with him. I thought this was a little bit of a cleaner, simpler option, except for apparently his everyday or formal, whatever that was. Look how sweet. This is Madeline. Where is she? Madeline, come back. Alright, well, we're back on Phoebe. There we go, Madeline. Look how sweet she looks. She looks really sweet. Unfortunately, it's very misgiving because she is a wild child. She loves to party, she loves to go out, she loves to sneak out of the house and not come back until the morning and play hooky from school. I mean, she drove her mom and pop crazy. Not only that, but she hates dirt. She hates to get dirty. And so the farm life was kind of hard for her to learn, because every time she got out there, she would squirm and she would not like it. She would just complain the whole time. She was not what Phoebe and her husband were expecting, for sure. And they got kind of worried because they were like, well, is she gonna want to inherit the farm? Maybe she'll sell it, and that's certainly not what we want, right? So, but with Phoebe's fertility problems, they certainly couldn't try again. I mean, they could, but Phoebe she had such a hard time the first time. She didn't want to go through it all again, you know? And she said, you know, maybe if we just raise her and discipline her, she'll become, you know, the next matriarch of the Wilkins legacy. Well, no, it didn't go that way. Crazy wild Madeline here, staying out all night, doing wild things. She would fight with her parents all the time. She started distancing herself from them and looking for attention elsewhere, and poor Madeline got knocked up at 17. Well, I think I decided 16 and then had the baby at 17. So, this was after her papa had died, right? So he died kind of young of a heart attack, and it broke poor Phoebe's heart, really did. She was very in love with her husband. They had a great relationship, and it just pushed the tensions between her and Madeline even further. And when Madeline came home and had to tell her mama what had happened and what she was gonna be up to, Mama Wilkins was not happy. They fought all the time, and it looked like there was no hope for them in sight. Madeline threatened leaving, she threatened moving out and never talking to her mom again. And it was really tense. But then Mama Wilkins got to thinking. She said, now I would have rather it gone a different way, but maybe this baby would be selfish. It's a little selfish, but she thought that maybe the baby she'd be able to raise it to be a farm baby, you know, and want to take part in the business and take over the farm after she was gone. Someone she could leave it to that she could trust it with, right? So she started to get kind of excited about the baby and a little easier on Madeline. And with the extra care and attention and the lack of fighting, Madeline actually got kind of close to her mom, right? So she started inviting the baby daddy over, and Phoebe did her best to try to remain civil and supportive, and it was going really, really well for a while, right? But then Madeline had the baby. Now, this is where things get real hot. Madeline had the baby, a little girl she named Cassidy, okay, and you'll see her coming up soon. She had the baby girl, and the baby daddy disappeared. Didn't show up to the hospital, didn't show up to see the baby at all. She could not call him or find him. He was just gone, skipped out. Madeline was heartbroken because she was sure she was in love with this guy, right? She was sure that he was going to stick around. He'd stuck around through the whole pregnancy. She thought they were going to have a family, that she'd made a good choice. And now she's really starting to regret all of her decisions, right? So, she's having a really hard time. The baby's crying all the time. She doesn't know how to be a mom. She's so young. Mama Wilkins is trying to give her advice, but Madeline's so heartbroken, and she's starting to remember all of that animosity she had with her parents before, right? And it's just really hard on them both, and suddenly things just start to explode. They start to fight again. The tensions are real high in the house. Mama Wilkins keeps telling her how to raise Cassidy, but Madeline's not into that. She's like, if she doesn't want to be a farm girl, you're not going to force her like you tried to force me. I want her to have more freedom. I want her to be who she wants to be. And Mama Wilkins was saying, Madeline, I did not try to force you in anything. And Madeline's being like, yeah, you did. You and Daddy both tried to make me the matriarch of the Wilkins family, and I didn't want to take any part in that, for sure. I wanted to be my own person. I wanted to go out. I wanted to be free, and you kept holding me back. And they got into a huge, huge fight. Mama Wilkins threatened to take little Cassidy away from Madeline, and that was the last straw. Madeline was not having it. She said that she was going to move out, she was going to get a job and be on her own, and that she did not want Mama Wilkins to have any part in her little girl's life. So she did, very quickly. She found a really cheap place in an old trailer park that had developed in Willow Creek years before, got herself an entry-level position in an office as a secretary, and, if Mama Wilkins wasn't so mad and so upset about losing them, she might have even been proud of her daughter. I think she would have seen how hard she was working and really, because Mama Wilkins really does love her daughter. It's not that she doesn't love her. It's not that she wishes she was something else. She just, she loved her husband so much, and he loved the farm, and she wanted everything that she could give to him. And to think that Madeline would probably move away or sell the farm for money or any of those things, she never really talked to Madeline about this. She just assumed all these things, and it really put a strain on their relationship, so yeah. So we're back to Mama Wilkins, because I realized I forgot to do anything to her, so now I'm doing all of her outfits. So Madeline moves out, right? She's in the trailer park. She's got this little toddler baby that she's trying to raise on her own, and she actually doesn't do too bad for a while. She's a pretty good mom. She works pretty hard. It's kind of hard for her to get a promotion because she's tired all the time, and she doesn't call her mother. They don't talk at all for years. And then as Cassidy begins to grow up, Madeline starts to revisit a little bit of her wild side. She starts to feel regrets for all of that stuff she missed out in her youth, that she just, she didn't go to college, she didn't get to go out and party with her friends, she didn't celebrate her 21st birthday party. She was spending all that time with her baby, who she absolutely adores, and she does not regret having Cassidy at all. She loves her daughter and would do anything for her, but she's young, and she's still young, even though Cassidy's older, and she wanted the chance to experience all of the stuff she missed. So she was trying really hard to balance a life between being a mother and being a young woman out on the town, and it's been really hard on poor little Cassidy, who's about 11 or 12 now. Constantly, little Cassidy, she has to be the adult most of the time. her mother has fallen back into her old wild ways almost completely. She's out whenever she can get out, whenever she's not working. She's drinking and partying and coming home late, and Cassidy's always worried about her. And Cassidy has also started going to see her grandmother, which Madeline was not happy about, but Cassidy was kind of like, Mom, you can't really stop me, she's my grandma, and she might not be here long, it might be good, if you made up with her. Cassidy's kind of the voice of reason in the family. She is not hot-headed at all. She's the exact opposite. She's very calm and cool and collected, very independent and mature. She had to grow up very quickly to take care of her mother when she's stumbling through the door in the early hours of the morning, and she had to learn how to fend for herself, She had to learn how to cook and clean, and it's been very hard on her. And whenever she's visiting Mama Wilkins, she always makes it sound like it's not that bad, that Madeline's doing a really good job, and she doesn't want Mama Wilkins to be mad because she desperately wants her mom and her grandma to make up. She really, really does. She thinks that it's a huge strain on both of them, and that it would be so much better for everyone and a happier life if they could all just get along. So one of the big things Cassidy is always trying to do is get them back together, right? So here I'm going through Mama Wilkins. Her style is very, traditional, very, white glove society kind of tea parties and stuff like that. She loves all that stuff. Later, off camera, I do give her a very high piano skill and some painting skill. Charisma. I just wanted to have her be a very learned woman, some logic and stuff like that. So I think we're going to get into Cassidy here in a little bit. I did forget the makeup on Madeline for a couple outfits, so I'm just going back real quick and fixing that up. Madeline's style is a lot more modern than her mom's. It's a lot more, she tries to be a regular mom, but she really it's just not her style. So she tries to dress like she's rich because that's what she was used to when she was a kid. Her family had a lot of money, and she wants to look like she still has a lot of money, like she belongs in upper society. She wants to be in that upper society again, but she just can't afford it. She spends a lot of money on trying to make her look like she's in a higher position than she actually is, and a lot of that money is kind of a waste, especially when she could be spending it on Cass, who she doesn't care how she looks, as you'll see. Not that she doesn't care, she doesn't have a whole lot of time to care. She has to be the adult, so I did pick Dad for little Cass, and there he is, very wild, very rock bandy. I think just the type that Madeline would go for sure. So here is little Cassidy. She is, again, like I said, the voice of reason in the family. She's laid back. She's kind of, a lot of the time she's tired. She's tired of having to look after her mom and kind of, placate to her grandmother, who's always, trash talking her own mother, and it's really hard on this poor kid. And her everyday outfit actually is the only one that she gets to pick. Her other outfits are kind of and her bathing suit, I guess. Okay, so so I love this sparkly shirt, and this is what I'm talking about. I actually make that her party shirt, and I kind of think like Madeline probably picked it out for her, and she was probably like, oh, look at all these sparkles, Cass. Everybody's gonna be looking at you, right? You look so pretty in it. And Cassie's probably like, Mom, I don't really care. I don't want to go out anyway. And like, Madeline's always pushing her to be more outgoing and more, kind of not a flirt because she's kind of young, but she's always asking her about the boys in her class, and Cassidy just doesn't care. Later I give her the trait loner, actually, because I figure she spends so much time at home worrying and taking care of her mom that I figure she hasn't had a whole lot of social interactions with her peers, and she just prefers to spend time on her own because that's the quietest time for her, where she can just be with her thoughts. So I do give her the loner trait, as well as I think I accidentally picked the... No, I did pick the mental aspiration. So her formal wear here, I figure that Mama Wilkins picked it out for her. Like, a little country dress that she could wear when they have tea together. And Cassidy, she's not really a dress-up kind of girl. She's not extremely feminine, and she wouldn't be comfortable in an outfit like this, but she does wear it to make her grandmother happy, just like she wears her party outfit to make her mother happy. And I feel like that's a lot of her life, is trying to make those two happy, because she figures if they're happy, then she can be happy, because then there's not all this drama going on around her all the time. And she's glad that they're talking again as much as they do. Even if every time they talk they're fighting, it's better than before when she couldn't see her grandmother at all, when she didn't know her grandmother. And it was hard because everybody in the town knew Mama Wilkins. It's not like she was a stranger that Madeline could just hide from her daughter, Everyone knew her, and everyone knew that Mama Wilkins was Cassidy's grandmother. So it wasn't long before Cassidy was finally like, "Look, Mom, I gotta know my own grandmother." Not only that, but I think that Cassidy likes farming. I think that she likes the idea of living in a farmhouse and taking care of the land, and I think that that's something that she might actually be interested, which would make Mama Wilkins so happy. So I'm going through the characters now. Mama Wilkins here, kind of a snob, kind of traditional. Madeline, a little bit of a wild child, and Cassidy, our little grown-up, right? So this is our first family. Mama Wilkins is actually going to live on a separate lot, and then Madeline and her daughter will live in the trailer park. So I was trying to get a good picture, because in every single picture Cassidy looked like she was ready to go out on the town. So that is episode 1. I hope you don't mind a whole lot of rambling. I didn't really know what to talk about or how to talk about it, but I hope that it was good. In the next episode, we'll be making Madeline and Cassidy's little trailer home, and I also want to make a convenience store for their trailer park. So I will see you guys later.